This week on 10-Minute Food Truck Training, we are talking about operational excellence on a food truck.
Support comes from ServiceNow. We're for people doing the creative work they actually want to do. That's why this ad was written and read by a real person and not AI. You know what people don't want to do? Boring, busy work. Now with AI agents built into the ServiceNow platform, you can automate millions of repetitive tasks in every corner of your business, IT, HR, and more, so your people can focus on the work that they want to do. That's putting AI agents to work for people. It's your turn. Visit ServiceNow.com.
Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore, founder of foodtrucktraining.group, and today we're going to be talking about records and documentation, and the documentation is going to be in the form of an ops manual. Documentation is so important in every business. Doesn't matter what the business is. Record keeping, accounting, notes on weather, coupon tracking, those are obvious examples of documentation. But so is writing up an employee when they break a policy. Each of these types of documents are your historical records, and they're necessary for your business survival. Policies, procedures, recipes, they're all forms of documentation too. So today we're focused on an ops manual. And these aren't necessarily historical records, but they are guidance to help you and your employees do the job consistently from day one to the 5th year you're in business, and from the time you open in the morning until the time you close. You want to be consistent so your guests have a reasonable expectation of walking up and getting the exact same presentation week after week, the exact same flavor of the same product week after week. If you don't have those policies and procedures in place, then it's just a gamble for all those guests when they walk up and they go, "Wonder what I'm getting today." So you want to think about your vision. So if you were to ask your employees or your family or your friends, could they explain your vision for your food business? What would they say? How about if you ask some of your loyal guests? Would they be able to say, yeah, your vision is to deliver awesome food, to have this certain flavor, to be this fast? Or are they going to just throw their hands up and go, I don't know? If you're inconsistent in the delivery of your food and service, it's because your vision lacks clarity. You should know exactly how everything is going to look as it's presented to your guest. And you should know every step that it takes to get to that point. And you should have a reasonable expectation of what your guest's reaction is going to be when they take that first bite. So an ops manual lays out every step in operations. So it's going to deal with food, and it's going to lay out how you order food, where you order it from, how much food you may need for a particular product. It's going to lay out how you receive the food, where it's stored, whether it's dry, frozen, or refrigerated. It's going to lay out how the food is prepared, what type of preparation goes into it, where it's held after it's prepped, and then it's going to go into the cooking process, how it's cooked, and it's going to be very detailed, times and temperatures, seasonings and proportions. And then it's going to go into where it's held after it's cooked. It's going to talk about how long it can be held. It's going to go from when the order is placed, how is that held food then packaged or presented to the guest. And it's going to go all through the steps it takes to get that order out of the guest. We've talked about this on other podcasts and some of the videos I've done on the group. And if you haven't joined our group, by the way, it's Food Truck Training. It's on Facebook. You need to join it. We do lots of training that's more long form than the podcast is. But getting back to the manual, you need to be able to understand and explain to your employees, and you do that through a written policy on how the order is taken, how you suggest to sell, how you upsell, how you present the total of the ticket to the guest, how you transact the cash, how you tell them where to go to pick up the order, how you hand the order to them, what you say as far as, "Thank you very much. Have a great day. Hope you enjoy your meal. Come back and see us." Whatever your words are, you want your employees to be able to say those consistently and with enthusiasm. And that's just on the food and the order taking. And then you got to get into details on where do the employees work? What are their different positions? How do they help each other? So then you're thinking about, okay, the cashier is only the cashier, which is the wrong thing. Don't ever think a cashier is only a cashier, because you're shooting yourself in the foot. You have employees that should be able to do everything. And I know people are going to debate me and say, oh no, I have employees that can only cook. And you're probably right. You probably have people you do not want to be on the front line. However, they have to understand the frontline cashier's job, not so they can perform it, but so they can understand what that particular employee goes through, because I can assure you it's just as difficult as what a cook goes through. It may not be as sweaty and stinky and as labor intensive, but it's still taxing to the mind, because you got to deal with people when they're hungry and then satisfy them and get them to buy more food through suggested selling and upselling. So each role has to be explained in your ops manual so every employee knows that yes, each job is valuable and equally valuable. You wouldn't run your truck missing a wheel, because you technically could. It would not be a smooth ride. So why in the world would you not utilize your employees and train them to do everything? Not that they'll be great at it, but that they understand what each other goes through, because each job is equally difficult. So you want to spend time and flesh out all of those details. If you don't have a written manual, now is the time to write one. For example, if you go to Burger King or Wendy's or McDonald's or Subway, they have ops manuals for everything. So the operations manual could be 300 pages explaining every detail of the food and the service. It may even have details on what to do when you're not busy, such as cleaning and restocking and helping each other and then going out and doing marketing. It's going to have explanations of what you should do every second that you're on the clock. And I promise you there is not a page that says, when there's no guests, go sit down out back and smoke a cigarette. The ops manual gives you plenty of stuff to do when you're not busy. So you need to think about those procedures for yourself. And it doesn't have to be 300 pages. It could be 10 pages. But the idea is that every employee knows what they should be doing every second that they're on the clock. Some other things to consider in your ops manual, besides just how to get the food from being ordered somewhere into the guest's mouth and what your employees should do when they don't have a guest to take care of. You should also explain things like how you schedule your staff, how guest complaints are handled, how you recover a guest when there is a complaint, floor control, which is talking about teamwork and helping each other, kitchen and service management, how do you handle just the front line, what are all those details, how do you restock, how much do you restock, where is everything laid out. It shouldn't be just left up to the employee that's working to decide how they're going to be cooking the food on the grill or how it's going to be scooped out of a container and put onto a plate. You should tell them exactly where the food should go and how it should be positioned on the plate down to the detail, not only of how much, but I want each plate to have the sandwich on the left-hand side. I want the fries to be at 12 o'clock, and they should spread down to 3 o'clock. And then in the 3 o'clock position is where we start with another ingredient or another product. But you want to be that detailed because you want every single plate to go out looking identically. You'll see a lot of people post pictures on their website and say, look at this awesome food I made, and it'll have 5,000 zigzags of some type of sauce. But when you go to the truck and buy it, it'll have 3 little zigzags. So now I'm confused. Which is it? Do I get the 5,000 zigzags, which made it look really awesome? That's what brought me down here. But now it's only got 3? What's the issue? Every morsel of food that you advertise should look like it's supposed to. And every morsel of food that you make should look like it's supposed to. You don't get that way by just leaving it up to whoever's making it. You get that way by having written procedures. So you want to look at your ops manual as just a living, breathing document, and it's going to change. You're going to add food, you're going to drop food, you're going to have different limitations from the suppliers. They may have to give you different foods from time to time. So you have to make those adjustments so that your employees and really yourself understand how to handle whatever change has been thrown at you. If you write your ops manual and you and your staff follow it, you're going to find things get a whole lot more easy on you. Because you'll come into the business every day knowing exactly what to expect. Your guests will come in knowing exactly what they're going to get. And as long as there's good, delicious food served in a fast, friendly manner, they're going to come back again tomorrow. The more detail you put into the business before you open, the better odds you have of being successful when you're open. Tomorrow we're going to talk about yet another manual, and that's the employee policy manual. Everything else I've been talking about are not employee policies. Those are procedures. Tomorrow we're going to talk about policy. If you're enjoying our chats, please consider supporting the podcast by clicking that support button. Every little bit does help. Or if you'd like to make just a one-time donation, I got you covered. There's a link in the description for that as well. If you need more information or you just like the camaraderie of like-minded positive people, please join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training, and the links are in the description for that as well. Thank you so much for listening, and stay profitable, my friends.